All right. Here we go again. It's episode 24. Hope you are enjoying your weekend. If you're watching it on the weekend, if it's during the week, why'd you wait so long? Welcome to the end of the first of monstrous, the biggest of the big tech earnings.
Yeah, it was 40% of the S&P.
Yeah, what a week it was for the overall market as well. We sat here a week ago and talked about a big ugly red candle for both the S&P and the NASDAQ. No longer, you were just saying before we came on here, more than, I think it is actually more than 50% back in a matter of 5 trading days here, coming off of just a blowout report from Google. It led the way, NVIDIA as well, back to the upside ever so slightly. We'll touch on that. But Microsoft as well reports. We get Apple next week. We get even more to come on the earnings train. So let's jump right in because there's a ton to get to here this week.
Pen.
Thanks, Fabian.
You couldn't have done that while
Fabian's hand,
it was on you or anything like that.
Fabian's hand making a cameo in episode 24. How was your week?
Fine, exhausting. That's what I was saying at the end of the show. I felt like we're just trading so much. There's so much to look at.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, am I going to go to Meta today? Am I going to go to Google? Am I going to go to everything? I think it was a pretty good week. Battling the weather. The weather was a fun one this week. I feel like you get home and sometimes it was like 0. You wake up zeros. I don't know, man. And then now we're supposed to get back into it. And I said, the funny thing is, our one good thing from last week, do you remember what it was for me? It was sitting on patios. And then all of a sudden we get this.
It's going to be 22, I saw, next week.
Yeah. I think
it's going to be pouring, but details.
Exciting. I was trying to organize a baseball game with all of us.
Yeah, we should. I saw that. We should totally do that.
Well, yeah, look at this weekly. You just mentioned more than 50% back. I think that's exactly what it is. I mean, it's close enough. Saved today by Google, I feel like, and an okay report from Microsoft. The doomsday seems to have not hit right now. And then this morning, of course, if we flip over to a daily chart, you'll see that a lot of the moves just were today. So, I mean, good move back. If today's Google number was the other way, then perhaps it is close to a 0 week. But again, couple good days there. Meta gave us that scare, but I'm not that scared because they're just investing more CapEx than people thought into AI. We will get to that a little bit. But what a fun week. Nice to see that it's up. The big dogs still to come next week, of course, with Amazon and Apple. That should be a lot of fun. But I'm pretty good about it. And we sort of survived more economic numbers. Yeah, I want to touch on that. We'll get into this inflation data. But here's just to put it in a visual form for Google today where this day ranks. Largest single day increase, shout out to Bespoke for this. Largest single day increase in market cap. We talked about that. Missed that one.
Yeah, we talked about that NVIDIA move.
Wait a minute, today was bigger than $277 billion?
No, it's right here. It's the red one.
Where is it? Oh, the red one.
It's the red one. Yeah, 194.8. So it's third. But yeah, we talked about this going back to February. But yeah, huge day here for Google.
Let me ask you this. Do you think NVIDIA changes that on their report?
The next one, yeah.
They blast again. I think it's because we're getting so expensive now, these valuations on a one-day move, just by simply gaining 10%, you're adding $200 billion to your market cap. The best part about Google was they put that $70 billion buyback in there. They added a dividend. And when you put that kind of a buyback in, you're also increasing EPS because you're taking those shares away. So it's going to be a good move for them. Amazon caught tails today, as well as cloud working for both companies. I'm excited for it. I think that we're going to have a big one, and you've been right. The funny part about all this, Brendan, is I sold Meta and I sold Google.
Here, I'm telling you.
But you know the funny thing is, we're netting out. Google's up 10%, Meta's down 10%. So at the end of the day, I'm paying fees. Who wins? Shout out to IBKR, whoever you're trading with. I like the less stress. I'm just going to sell nothing. Because like I write the wife, I'm like, oh man, we sold Meta, good job, down 10%. Great, okay, fast forward next day. Oh darn, Google's up 10%. We sold some of that one as well. But it's like rats, just buy the dips, I think, and keep averaging in. Unless you're swing trading, we're gonna have some good earnings plays for you.
Agreed. We gotta wait until May for NVIDIA. You were just talking about it.
Yeah, it's for a while.
It looks like May 22nd. We'll get the next go around here for the chip.
And you're gonna get answers from AMD on the 30th of April next week.
Yeah. So more to come. I mean, Intel was a mess.
Why is anybody really Intel didn't surprise anybody?
No, I don't think so. If
you're not going to talk about how your chips are basically revolutionizing the current AI game, then it's not going to work.
Yeah.
They are a longer term story, but unfortunately you did have opportunities to get out of Intel a heck of a long time ago. And we can sit here and say we're waiting, but if you're still in it, you've just lost about 30% of value in a couple of months there. So from 50 down to 30, not a great move there for Intel.
All right, let's go macro here for a few minutes. I want to touch on this GDP first off. Huge print to the downside, and I think unexpected for some anyways. It was 1.6 versus, I mean, the year over year was 2.4, but the core number was 3.5 the last time. The last print was 3.5 or 3.4. We get a 1.6 print on GDP. Now, mind you, this is a advanced look, so this is not the final print for the quarter, but that's going to lead to an argument, or I guess help the argument of the Fed's going to have to start considering to do something here. On the other hand, we get more inflation data that says, nope, not needed. So yes, the economy's starting to slow, but overall inflation is still rampant.
Yeah. I think it goes back to the same kind of thing that we keep talking about this, is that GDP print, I remember when we had it live on the show, I was like, oh my God, we have to then just go short. Because all of a sudden, are we going to start talking about recessions again? I don't think we're anywhere near there.
No.
But if the GDP keeps retracing like this, that is going to become a problem. We never really talked about GDP. I feel like this is one of our first podcasts that we've really looked at that. We normally talk about jobs. We talk about inflation. So that is a little disappointing that number comes in 1.6 versus 2.4. That's already low. And then half of what it was before at 3.4
was 3.5
down to 1.6. Is there some seasonality? Like, I don't understand why that was so low.
Are we finally starting to see some effect from these rates at where they are?
Yeah, potentially. And
we've talked about in the past all these job cuts that just keep piling up and piling up and piling up. Are we actually starting to see the effect?
I mean, this is lower than expected, right? So I just wonder, are they just been off? It's so much lower, Brendan.
Yeah.
I always wonder about when we get expectations and then they're never really super accurate.
Yeah.
So it's like, why? Like, who's prognosticating these?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a low number. I don't know that much. Gold's been going to the upside. There's been various asset classes that keep on going here. I don't know what that really has to do with GDP, to be honest with you. But that 1.6, I thought we would be negative. Obviously, this week has been a big positive week.
Yeah, I wanted
stagflation.
Yeah, that would be bad. That would be really bad. Raheem actually sent me a note today on copper. Copper's almost all-time highs.
It is?
10,000.
There's the XME.
For copper. We're going to talk about that next week on the show. Make sure you check out the live show. Yeah, like and subscribe as well.
Is that because more people are thinking that China's going to be on the rebound finally? Did you see some of those FXI and Alibaba and all that?
I mean,
I think if production in China gets figured out, that's generally been a reason for copper to go back up to the upside.
And battery production too, right? They all need copper in them. Anyways, PCE this morning comes out basically in line. The month-over-month numbers were exactly where they were expected to be. The year-over-year numbers were still higher. But we're dealing with, at this point, and I was trying to explain this to Sharif because he was all confused as to why the market wasn't moving the way we thought it should be moving. There was a time, remember on the way up, when inflation was going from essentially 0 to 9%, some of these numbers were coming out 0.5% higher, or 0.6, 0.7, 0.8 of a
now
percent
you're just getting
higher.
1/10 of that.
Now it's just a tenth, a tenth, a tenth, a tenth, a tenth here, a tenth there. I just think we've gotten to a point where the market doesn't care.
I just wonder if the Fed needs to readjust their expectations a bit, because I feel like we're just in line. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I thought historically PC was in between 3.5%, 4%, somewhere like that. I think we're at a nice little level here. But if it does continue to be hotter, then are we getting no rate cuts this year?
I think
Does the market seem to care? I mean, even if
I don't think
you don't think any rate cuts.
No.
Okay, I think it's probably right.
But here's the bigger picture.
I think one for sure. Before elections.
That would be great.
September.
But here's the bigger picture. CPI was way higher than expected. The last jobs report, way higher than expected. So a lot of people, I think, were standing here saying, oh, here comes PCE. It's also going to be way higher than expected. And then we get a tenth to the upside on both of the main numbers here. So I think it's a wash.
It's hard to look at the market when these numbers come out because we have such big tech earnings
and that's
throughout everything. Like I was looking at the chart here today when it came out, we went from the NASDAQ basically being flat on the day based on Google earnings. I mean, it was up, but then a nice little move up about 0.5%, then all the way back in, trying to get, it was never gonna go red, but goes way into the pre-market lows. And then the market opens up, and then as you said, Brendan, it was basically a buy all day. Every single dip all day long bought into a hot PCE number. That's not supposed to happen.
Yeah.
We've had people come in here on the trading floor. You want to talk about stories on the trading floor? You just mentioned that. We had traders coming in here during COVID, during inflation, when this was really starting to ramp up. Some of these numbers were way, way off, way higher than expected.
Yeah.
And boom, the market would absolutely tank or rip, depending on the read. And these guys would be making thousands of dollars, just boom, boom, boom. Now, people today, 8:30, I was like, okay.
It was yawn.
There it is, whatever.
Yeah.
Has the Fed lost some of its luster? Do we not believe it anymore?
I just don't think, it's exactly what you said. I don't think the volatility is there anymore. It's just not as big of a deal.
The market's just so resilient. I'm trying to be bearish all week. Maybe this is why I'm tired. It's been fine.
Yeah.
It's just like I keep fighting all of these moves to the upside because I look at these economic numbers. I see that bad GDP print, a higher PCE. I think the market should be lower, but we're in earnings season.
Yeah.
And they keep crushing it, and we have lots of stuff to talk about.
No, you just nailed it in that that's what's more important right now is what are earnings? What are the big tech earnings? That's what the market cares about.
I think we know that the Fed does not, we always say that the Fed has your back or you've got sort of that Fed put behind it. Right now we know the Fed are not going to be cutting rates, it seems like.
Yeah.
So we're just going to have to deal with the stocks that we have.
Guess what else? I have big news.
AI? Trader TV Live goes AI?
It took 24 episodes. We have a sponsor, Sean.
That's a lot of episodes.
This episode is sponsored.
Thank you, sponsor.
Yes. Shout out to our sponsor bringing you this episode. Pandimensional. Researching and strategizing in the stock market doesn't have to be this difficult. With your personalized AI investing co-pilot from Pandimensional, you can easily discover stocks and effortlessly test and execute your strategy ideas. Get quick and digestible stock market insights with Pandimensional's AI chatbot and back testing and forward testing strategies with Pandimensional's AI simulator, all in a beginner-friendly platform. Try it now. Shout out to them.
No better to backtest anything, honestly. That's the one thing that I'm thinking about here when we sit here and trade. And there's all this time. We have that great midday show that is all about learning. I think that's where you build all of your ideas. You get your ideas, you put them into a platform, and you test them out.
Yeah.
And then you start to ramp up your idea.
Completely agree.
And I mean, this is what AI is doing right now. It's changing the way everybody operates and quite simply put, making everything so much more efficient.
I remember days of hours and hours and hours of sitting, looking at charts and going, oh, that broke that and that broke that, so that's a win.
It's
just for hours and hours and hours. Now you can feed data into a chatbot and it just spits out your answer like that.
And like even if you can't figure something out, you can ask Excel, ask one of the chat
to write exactly like an Excel
like,
formula.
Hey, I can't sum up in Excel. It'll be like, hey, dummy, this is what you do.
Let me do that.
Hit the sum button right there for you. Talk about Excel, Microsoft today as well. Where do we want?
I want to touch on good old Kathy here for a second.
Oh, Kathy, oh yeah.
Because they're bailing on Kathy again. Some inflows and outflows for you by year. That's not good. I mean, it's been, let's be honest, it's been a pretty good year for her fund so far in 2024. But here we are, biggest outflows in quite some time.
I could be happy with that.
Would.
Well, the thing is that her biggest thing, one of her big names has been Tesla. So I think that as people begin to get lighter on their feeling for Tesla, knowing what the share count is, and I don't know exactly what the share size is of the flagship fund there for ARK, but that could be another reason. There's been other names, Teladoc, we've seen that pack B to the downside, and some names that she's been in just haven't really been working out. Plus, you also have people that have been interested in ARK fund also interested in something like Bitcoin, which you can now get, not that Bitcoin was ever in ARK, but I just feel that there's people that are also now investing instead of looking at the returns that you've gotten from an ARK fund and just saying, hey, I could do my own investing. I can now pick my own names up. And if you don't agree with the constitution of her portfolio, it's very public, all the positions that she has. Yeah. You can go in there, pick and choose which one you want. I'm not sure if it's worth it anymore, Brendan, to pay whatever. I'm gonna say it's probably around 2% of some kind of a management fee, or maybe a little bit less with the amount of money that they're running. But I just think that people are getting smarter now, more picking stocks rather than picking an ETF right now that is not going to work in higher for longer.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to...
Coinbase still is number one.
Coinbase has been performing okay, but I guess it's probably number one now because of the weighting.
Well, this is the end of Q1, so this is the end of March. Coinbase was 10%, Tesla 8.5%, Roku 7.6%.
Yeah, we had a bad report from Roku, didn't we, today? So there you go. So
ugly.
some of that, I honestly just think that if you're going to have higher rates for longer and you're going to be investing in new technology growth names, it's not the right spot for Cathie Wood right now, but that might be a good opportunity to get in there and swoop in. I guarantee you, once the Fed is on your side, you're going to see that ARK start to take off. Honestly, now I'm getting heated about this because I think we need to give people, honestly, and maybe a hint of what's to come. There's wealth generation opportunities all over the place. You have to pick up ETFs and things that you believe in when the time is right.
Yeah.
You know, and I think once you get a change from the Fed, then you can start to pick up some of these names that are very volatile, that potentially have high short floats, and you can start to take advantage of some of this movement in that. And you know what, actually, Brendan, have you looked at the daily chart for ARK? It's not horrible.
It's holding up decently.
Yeah, this $40 level isn't too bad. I mean, you're trying to get over this 200 period moving average. And again, this is not a stock. This is a basket of stocks. So
am I crazy? Is it negative this year?
Let me see. Yeah.
I thought it was up.
No. We're on negative. Hold on a second here. Daily, yeah, down 12% year to date.
Don't listen to me. I guess it was last year I was thinking of. Did we talk about Tesla last week? I feel like we didn't.
Robotaxis?
We did touch on the Robotaxi side of things. This was a cool graphic I wanted to...
Oh no, did we do Wednesday last week?
We did, that's why. Man,
it's a good thing someone's on top of everything around here.
Right?
Thanks to Fabian and Ramin.
Non-gap free cash flow. That's an ugly chart.
It goes the other way finally.
Yeah, negative.
Is the tide turning? 4 years of quarterly revenue and free cash flow. Thing is, he's told us this is going to be a problem. We know that. China's numbers bad. Everybody wants to get a cheaper car. No one can afford it. Are we just going to say higher rates for longer again? No one's jumping into new cars. Hertz was trying to get rid of their whole fleet. Used car prices are going down right now. It's not the right environment for Tesla, I don't think. Competition's ramping up.
I want to get your take on this.
But it is a great story.
Still, and lots of branches and arms that could possibly still grow here.
I have notes on this.
He dropped a line in the earnings call, and I think it was planted specifically for a reason. And that line was, and we said it on the show multiple times, but he said, people need to start thinking of Tesla as a robotics and AI company, not a car company.
So you agree with that?
I'm not saying I agree with it one way or the other, but I think it was very strategically placed to plant a seed that if down the road things continue in the way they're going right now on the car side, he can say, see, look what I'm doing to offset said car side not doing well.
Do you think that's more like trying to hide what's going on over there? And we've said this on the show, look here, look there. But the thing is that if it's the truth, you know, like I was reading the same thing here. They're now trying to license out their FSD to other platforms. So I just feel like that's just another part of the AI and everything that they've built. They're not simply just putting, you know, rubber to pavement here. They're building something much, much bigger. So in the backdrop of slowing EV sales, it makes sense that your CEO comes out and says, hey, we are this car company and we are huge, but we are also working on so many more things, including, did you see here this?
But Sean, he actually said, not a car company.
Right. That's fine. You can say that, but
But
I don't know the percentage of revenues that are car sales.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like this is the beginning of a let's shift the narrative for Elon. Like, Elon's not a dumb guy. He's gonna gonna say what he needs to say in a timely.
You see Fisker, Lucid, Rivian, all that. Let those guys say how bad the EV space is.
Yeah.
I think we all know that.
Yeah.
Did you hear what he said about Optimus?
Yeah.
I mean, Musk reiterated his belief that Tesla's humanoid robot Optimus will be more valuable than everything else combined, and that Tesla is best positioned to reach volume production with efficient AI inference on the robot. So they're not a car company, they are a robot company.
I will be their first customer.
Yeah, I wonder if it's gonna come out like the Vision Pro, where it just comes out like really expensive.
These two just sent me a message.
Of course they did.
Saying Rolex is not a watch company. Is it like that?
Well, Rolex is, who sent those messages? Fabian and these guys? Well, Rolex, I would say, is definitely a watch company, but more of a lifestyle where you're buying it because of what it maybe potentially represents.
Ding, 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 ding.
Tesla used to be that, but not anymore.
No, I agree. I completely agree.
You know, people used to be like, I want to ride around in a Tesla.
Yeah.
Now people are kind of like, okay, you have a Tesla, cool.
Yeah. It's becoming
But that's
more
good though,
mainstream.
no?
I don't know. It's.
Did you see the layout of the Robotaxi app? That's pretty cool.
It's kind of interesting. I mean, he's going to do that.
The thing about Tesla is, we had this discussion in episode maybe 5, that people were paying ridiculous amounts for those over-the-head Apple headphones. You know, $300, $400, $500. You were mentioning at the gym, everyone's wearing them, and this and that. So I just think once Tesla does release something, I almost do think they can eat into a lot of, if not the majority of Uber business. And so there you go. Maybe he's right, dude. Maybe they're not going to be this car company. Like, hey, look, buy a Tesla car, that's cool.
Yeah.
But there's so much more about this company.
Uber's done. If he just says go to 1 billion Model 3s that are all self-driving, like, why is somebody getting in an Uber?
But I don't think you still need to have someone in the cars, I think. I think we'd still need to have that
the first
figured out.
Yeah.
On the legislation.
I mean, they're so far ahead in the sense that they currently have an army of vehicles all over the world that are mapping the globe for them and sending back data of the globe right now. Like, it's happening right now. They're so far ahead.
Yeah, and then like I said, then he's going to license out these maps, the full self-drive, and then at that point, we'll see what happens.
It's kind of a crappy image, but here's that app we were talking about.
Yeah, I noticed. It's hard to see it.
It's really dark, but you can kind of get the picture of people watching. It's like a better version of Uber, I guess. Like, maybe they're still going to drive around in circles for 20 minutes before they actually come down and pick you up.
Yeah, I think the app, I know we're showing it, so those of you that are audio only, it's really just kind of looks like Uber.
It kind of looks
It's just a map of a car driving around.
But it's Tesla'd up.
Does that stuff get leaked, or is that something that's like, here, just throw this out there?
By the way.
Pretend to find it. Oh, you know what? I went to, so for the first time in a while, part of this is because of the young people that hang around here, and Randy, actually. Reddit is actually pretty cool. So yesterday for the NFL draft, you were probably not watching it. No. So I was there. I was like, hey, let me get some insights onto who, like, the Green Bay Packers could potentially be drafting. So I went to the Green Bay Packers, like, what do they call them? Forum. Is that right? It's called a subreddit?
We're so old.
The subreddit chat group. And it was like you had to type in r/Green Bay Packers. You know, I'm getting really advanced. And then they were talking all about the draft. And that was really cool. Amazing. I'm not buying Reddit, though. Have you seen that stock?
No, Randy's loving Reddit.
Hot mess.
Randy's on Reddit all day, every day.
He talks about Reddit a lot.
But he's a Tesla fan.
Reddit and forget it. Actually, no, Reddit's actually bouncing off $40. Maybe that is something. Remember the ARM IPO was under there for a very, very long time and then eventually started to blast up. So actually, I'm excited for this. May 7th. Let's talk about that. Money. Reddit earnings May 7th.
It doesn't make
expecting it says earnings per share 22 cents. Let's see what they can throw out. I didn't think they were making money, so I don't know about that number, but
I thought they came to market at a loss.
They probably did.
That was.
But weren't they saying that? Oh, we have all this Bitcoin, and since then I think Bitcoin's gone down. Market cap only 1.82 billion. Yeah. Seems low. I wonder if that's right.
Let's talk about the other end of the spectrum here. Microsoft, a monster still. Here's a snapshot, but I mean, it just keeps growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. It just gives you an idea of where it's coming from as far as revenue is concerned for Microsoft.
Yeah, we saw Azure was pretty big there.
It was down slightly quarter over quarter, but still.
I mean, still look at the numbers that are coming. Oh yeah, so that barely down there. As you can see, the cloud was big. We saw some good sort of push through from there, and then personal computing. Okay, so I guess we got Copilot going on through there. I didn't really pay too much attention to the quarter because of what happened with Google
stuff, right?
Is that the tablets?
Yeah.
That they're selling?
Yeah.
That was personal computing.
Well, it's laptops too.
Yeah, I just wonder if that includes the like OS, like their Windows.
Oh, you might be
OS,
right. Yeah, you're
right?
probably
So,
right. You're probably
but anyways, I think that Microsoft can continue to work out. I'm a little bit nervous just the way it looks technically on the chart. I feel like we could break a little bit lower if there was something that wouldn't work out. There's other companies like Amazon that I think has that retail side. Microsoft, we haven't talked about it a lot recently, and I wonder why. I don't. What was it relatively interesting to you today when we were trading? I don't know if, I guess you're not really looking at it on a day trade, but it hit up to that 420 there overnight, and then we just kind of fell out and closed the day a little bit lower. We actually went to the downside. Microsoft opened up today off that earnings in and around that 3, 4, 5%, closing the day only up 2%. They sold it off. Doesn't look that great to me on a chart, actually, Microsoft.
Yeah.
That would be the one that I'm a little bit nervous about, only because I feel like it might have gotten that AI play. And we all gave it a lot of credit because chat was so far ahead of everybody else. Then Sundar comes out yesterday, Google comes out and says, hey, we're also in the AI space, don't forget about us. And by the way, we're spending unlimited amounts of money on this thing, and we have something in our lab that's working, and we're going to institute it into search like they already have. So I feel that Microsoft had a huge run up already, well deserved. But will it remain the king of the castle? That one I'm not on.
Have you tried Windows 11?
I don't know.
It's terrible.
How would I try that exactly?
They're forcing people to use it. You cannot buy.
So I don't have a computer. I should tell you that. No, like honestly, at home. No, we trade here.
There's a few around.
No, but I just whatever. I come in and log in. Yeah. What Windows are we even running over here?
That's Windows 10.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but the new version. Windows 11.
When did they release that?
I want to say
like a couple of years.
No, it was just recently.
Oh, just recently. I don't know.
And now they're forcing people to upgrade. Like you cannot buy a computer with Windows 10 on it anymore.
Right. So.
I think that's a.
But why would they do? You can't even. Okay.
They don't want to support it. I guess is the only reason.
I clearly do not know enough about Microsoft's current products. What I have at home is I just go like first of all always on the phone.
Yeah.
And then we have laptops. I just don't have that home personal computer.
Yeah.
So.
I don't have a desktop at home.
Right.
I just have my laptop at home. Let's talk about Google because this is a much better graphic.
When was the last time anybody that really, unless you were sitting at home during COVID, I feel like computers.
Well, I
don't really hear anybody talking about them.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, it depends. I guess it's job specific. Because if you're an editor or something like that, you'll probably get want it.
Sure. I have a good friend who's he does UX, like design.
So would they only, is that still something that's very prompt with Apple? Are they an Apple user?
Both, but both desktop and Mac. Yeah, I just have like a 32-inch monitor.
Oh, yes.
And then we just plug in our laptop.
HDMI cable.
Yeah. Here's Alphabet, on the other hand, $2 trillion today. Did you see that? Mm-hmm. Or Google.
I mean, that's my largest holding. I really like Google.
I don't know, what is this?
First ever cash dividend of 20 cents.
Salvatore, I don't know what that
Salvatore,
is.
another Paisan? What's he saying?
Whatever. So that just gives you a visualization of how much Google makes versus all of these other nonsense companies.
Oh, okay.
Next.
No, it's just the thing about Google is it looks great on a chart. It's breaking out. They give that dividend of it's just 20 cents, but it does bring in new investors a little bit. Mm-hmm. We talked about that with Facebook or Meta when they did that 2 quarters ago. Yeah. That would be seen as many positive signs. They're now giving some cash back, although it's pretty small. That 20 cents is nice. They authorized that $70 billion buyback. Like I said, I think that helps along with the dividend, that shows strength. Because the minute that you're buying your own shares back, plus you're spending, so they have so much cash, not only are they putting it to work to build, and they talked about it, expressing an extended margin forecast as well for these AI capabilities. So they're not talking about losing money on all of this. They're talking about pretty soon starting to show us that they're making this cash. And their search continues to be great. YouTube was a monster. You talked about some of those hours. I don't even know the number that you said. Billions of hours or something.
No. It was purely revenue.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But the hours watched, I think, is ridiculous.
Is still insane as well. But revenue in the quarter. Yep. YouTube revenue in the quarter was $8.09 billion in Q1 of 2024. Netflix.
Oh, that's what it was less.
Q1 revenue, no, it was more, was $9 billion.
So they're right there.
So essentially, YouTube is Netflix.
It's like its own business. That's why I always think that whenever we hear possibly, the regulators are coming after these guys because they're just too big, then spin off YouTube. That would just create more.
Crush it on its own.
Sundar Pichai says, we express confidence in Google's position, stating, we have the best infrastructure for the AI era. This indicates the company believes AI capabilities will drive future growth and confidence. So, he's saying the right words, like you said about Elon, that it's broken out. I like Google here for the long term, not just because it is a position that I have, but I think it continues to work. We all have Gmail, we don't even talk about that anymore.
No, it's...
the cloud is so big, everything is there. They still absolutely dominate search. It's like 90% of search is still run through there. We had that moment. That's why I'm saying I'm a little nervous about Microsoft. We had that talk about, oh my God, everyone's switching over to Bing. Are they?
No. God, no.
Sharif asked ChatGPT if Darryl Strawberry was a Blue Jay. It said yes, apparently.
Look, some of them are not fine-tuned yet.
I brought that up because we had
I had an argument with Perplexity today. About 35 minutes or so.
Are you supposed to do that?
I don't think so, but it wasn't working.
What was it about?
It's a long story.
Okay, but, we have a little bit of time.
We actually don't.
Oh, we don't. Okay.
Moving on. If you want to, let's just put it this way: if you want to plan something through AI, getting it to understand exactly detail to detail is not as easy as
someone asked us, by the way, hit the like and the subscribe and all of that. Someone asked us what our astrological signs are. And we said we'd do this. You got to put some questions below.
Maybe they should guess. Should they guess?
I'm Virgo.
So no?
Well, they guess yours. Let's let them guess yours. And reasons why. That could get nasty. Put your reasons why and what you think Brendan is and why. I have no... Adara said, hey guys, you have to address this question because people ask you about it. But I don't really know anything about... I'm going to ask Perplexity about Virgos.
Okay. You may not want to do that.
Virgos
I'm just going to throw it out there. You may not want to do that.
Good day traders.
Google says, not so much. That's essentially what it's doing, is just searching the way Google does, but looking at the actual website.
It says this. According to the search results, Virgos may not be well suited for day trading.
Damn it.
Should ask it for podcasting. Those born under some signs may simply be better suited for trading than others. Virgo traders tend to find it excessively stressful.
Okay, so let's do
losing my hair, getting gray. This is right. Yep, keep going. They're very sensitive.
Let's do a quality test. Don't write anything else. Just write a follow-up question that says, which signs are good?
But I wasn't even done reading this first part.
Take your time.
Yes, boss.
Take your
which signs are good traders? Make for good traders.
Sure, whatever.
All right, this is getting make for hood traders.
This podcast is not sponsored by Perplexity.
All right, here we go, Brendan. Gemma, you can come to my screen here. I'm fine. We can share this. Doesn't matter. You see my code here. Sean74636 is my user ID.
Account. Perfect.
So Gemini, perhaps the best of all binary options trader.
Okay.
So it gets very specific.
Here's what I'll say. I won't say what my sign is, but it's on that list.
I think I know your birthday. So, but anyways, Cancers are said to have strong instincts and the ability to be patient. So that's for sure. I am definitely not that. Leos are described as fierce and aggressive traders. That's not you, Brendan. Virgo, what? Sprinkle's on the list.
So you're both good in.
Okay, good. Yeah, but it does say that stress is a problem here, so that is true.
Okay.
In may not be good in fast-paced trading. Okay, I'm closing this. Had 300 trades today.
Are you sure you're a virgin?
Yeah, I don't know what I am.
Let's touch on Apple here because it's the big one coming up next week, or one of two, as we said. Amazon and Apple going to come through next week with their earnings reports. This on the back of many negative news catalysts over the past little while. We talked about iPhones in China being a problem. They are now number 3 in China. They're not even first or second.
Yeah.
A couple of companies I've never heard of are apparently now first and second.
Who's doing that? Counterpoint?
Yeah, whoever Counterpoint is. But 16% in 2023. We'll obviously...
It's not growing is the problem. Right?
Yeah, we'll
12,
obviously
14,
find out.
16.
Yeah, as far as growth is concerned. But China is going to be the big question, I think, here for Apple, because they're obviously still selling and will continue to sell in the rest of the world. Okay, so Tim Cook is going to do pretty much, in my opinion, what Sundar Pichai did and what Elon Musk did. And that is he's going to talk about how many phones they're selling, which is great, all of that stuff, but then he's going to focus, in my opinion, on what is to come in June for the WWDC event. Plus we have that other event that we're going to talk about, the Let Loose event coming through, and that's just going to be, I think, iPads. The story is going to be the spend that they're doing on AI, the augmented reality, all that kind of stuff with the Apple Vision Pro. I think Apple continues to work. We never really hear about the security of their cloud. It's huge. I think the Apple Cloud could play in some of this as well, as they still talk about all of the capabilities that we have with the iStore, the iTunes, the safety that's there, the amount of generation from subscription models that they continue to have for people renting out the cloud, storing their photos there. Pretty much, if you subscribe and you have an iPhone, it's so easy. You're going to pay for their storage probably for your iPhotos instead of transferring them over to Amazon, putting them on your Gmail, Google Cloud, something like that. I like Apple here. New AirPods rumored as well. iOS 18 is supposed to have all of that talk with AI. That's all coming through. A new Mac OS, new Watch OS, a new TV OS. Things are happening here. I think that's going to show the capabilities and ability of Apple to continue to grow their ecosystem. I'm a buyer of Apple down here, and I say bah humbug to all these reports of China and bad iPhone sales. Agreed. I took my first step into Apple World last week, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, sometime recently. So when's your Pixel going on Marketplace? Exactly. I upgraded to a M2 Pro MacBook. I saw that in there. Pro. Who's paying for that, me or you? You. No, definitely you. Show? You should charge it on the show, man. I saw it in there. It looks nice. This is still Google, but I'm just saying. Are you liking the MacBook? I'm just saying right now. Are you? I don't know for how long this will remain Google. Are you liking the MacBook? I love it. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. Listen, I've said from day one, Apple makes fantastic products. The quality is unmatched. I bet you Obi over there is Android. You're Android, Obi? Yeah, see, that was easy. Yeah. Diehards. But that's the thing. There he is. What's up, Obi? Shut up. But he's still burning the midnight oil on a Friday. Who is this guy? Obi, go have fun. Who is this guy? Come on. But that's the thing about Apple is that I think they have that staying power, Brendan, honestly. Oh, 100%. Like my kids, both of them have iPhones and iPads. Yeah. And one of them has earbuds. AirPods. Right, one of those. And they both have iWatches. I just forgot about that. It's the difference between, like I have another Apple product that we recently got for absolutely no reason. Okay, tell me. My lovely dog now has an AirTag on her collar. Is she a runner? No. Just because? She's pretty much never off leash. So you can sit downstairs and see what she's doing upstairs. I was like, that's a great idea, Marissa. Yeah. Perfect. And she goes, well, it's for like when the dog's visiting your parents, which might happen once or twice a year. And potentially she breaks away, this cockapoo's 20 pounds, from her leash, and for some reason decides to be randomly running around, you know, the lovely town of Oakville, and we cannot find her. But now, because of the AirTag, we will be able to locate my lovely dog, Belle. You don't have your earpiece in. I'll tell you later.
Earpiece.
My dog has husky.
Why, Ramin? What are you saying over there?
Don't worry about what Ramin's saying. My dog has husky in it, and therefore has an attitude, and would actually, for whatever reason, understand that there's some sort of tracking device,
rip it off.
and just do it to spite.
Oh, like just run away?
Yes. I'm saying.
That'd be awesome.
Just
I
to
should lend
piss
it
us
to
off.
you. That'd be hilarious.
So yeah,
love
in
dogs,
Apple,
honestly.
what is it? Thursday next week we get Apple, I think.
It's the 30th, wasn't it? Hold on a second, it's right here. It is.
Yes.
No,
Thursday.
May 2. You're right.
Yeah, Thursday. Oh, by the way, that's the day after the Fed too, because that's happening May 1st.
It's 99%.
Nothing's going to happen, but a lot of weight will be hung on what Mr. Powell has to say about what the remainder of the year is going to look like from the Fed. So
I know,
big monster week next week.
I know you are a big Caitlin Clark fan.
The biggest.
Right, from Iowa. I just want to say shout out because we talked about Nike here. They actually stepped up 28 million. So there was a lot of discussion. We had this discussion last year or last week that she's by far like.
Oh, she was drafted. I saw that.
Yeah, so she's the most celebrated player pretty much. And she created all of these great viewership numbers.
Earnings too.
For earnings, for CBS or whoever was broadcasting it, Disney and whatnot. Created a lot of wealth there, brought a lot of great viewers into basketball, and then it was really shocked when it was disclosed that her 4-year contract that they're forced to sign to join the WNBA, forced to sign, I mean, their choice. But if they want to join that, there's only a certain amount of money you can make in your first contract.
Yeah.
And it averaged out to be like $72,000 a year, which is crazy for who she is, and crazy for everybody in that sport. But again, I understand why it's there.
Yeah.
But anyways, Adidas, Nike, Under Armour, and Puma were all involved in that. And she wound up selling with Nike for that $28 million, so congratulations.
She'll be fine.
Yeah, I think that's great. And there's going to be more of that too.
Yeah.
You know, but the thing is that now with the NIL, they actually get paid in college. So she's made more in college than she will in the WNBA.
Yeah. Just different structure. Do you want to show that graphic real quick, and then we'll get into that Eli Lilly one?
No, because I'm saving it. You want to talk about Eli Lilly?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Okay, so
and let me preface this because there were earnings in this area of the world as well. Merck had pretty good.
Yeah, well, so what I actually want to talk about before I show anything was Eli Lilly reports next week, and I thought you were going to ask me about earnings for next week. Do we want to do that now?
Yeah. I was doing it the other way, but yeah.
Or do we want to talk about something else?
Is that actually next week?
Yeah, they do report next week, April 30th. That was the one that's Tuesday night.
Amazingly, oh no, she did put it on here. Friday morning, we get Lilly earnings?
No, the 30th. We get it on Tuesday, pre-market Tuesday.
Oh, other earnings, I see. Maybe I should read.
Yeah, that would be good. I mean, you're just too busy with your M2 over there, fancy guy. But yeah, we do get that. What was that?
Not here.
Yeah, where is it?
Over there.
You know what you should get? You should get like an iPhone so that you can ping it. You can just figure out where it is. It'll tell you where your stuff is. It'll let you know. And then you can get an iWatch as well. And you can get a tracker and put on your dog. Those are really great things. And it's not a waste of money at all. Oh, the good thing about the trackers, though, are when your kids go on. So there's kind of a backstory to it, to be honest with you. It's good for when your kids go on field trips.
So when they miss the bus, you know
put it in their backpack or something, so you can always see where they're at.
Okay. Just make sure they're not in the LCBO.
9 and 12, Brendan. I don't know what you were doing in Brampton back then when you were 9 or 12 years old.
Come on, those trips when you would go all day to Niagara Falls or whatever, you end up in places you probably shouldn't be.
You did. No. Okay, Eli Lilly. So the thing about them was we always give a pick potentially for next week. So I'm really most interested in Eli Lilly. I think it's done a whole look at the chart. Nothing, Brendan, since February. It's right back to its February levels. Meanwhile, all we keep hearing about is new doses in Costco. You know, the companies expect to generate huge production levels of their GLP-1 drug. It should be a good long-term play. They've got sort of the name out there now. People like Eli Lilly, their forward just EPS, 1220 to 1270, beating their estimates last quarter. Beat. They had a huge quarter. Positive results for their dermatitis treatment as well. That could be something. They did have a pushback on their arthritis drug, Donanemba.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's pretty much what it is. Not.
Nailed it.
They're expecting the decision on that drug by Q1. So I was thinking about this. If that comes out positive, I don't really see too many tailwinds or headwinds other than the fact that we talked about the cost of that drug.
I've also been reading the past couple of weeks, there's nasty side effects being reported.
See, so we had a story today that got dropped, and yeah, that would be a problem. So I feel like people are going to have to start thinking about, is this worth taking it for simple weight loss? Yeah. You know, if you are a diabetic and there's a situation there, then maybe that's true. Or they've talked about it also as a for addictions. Yeah. I think that could be something huge. But again, the average analyst rating on this has a price target over its current high, into $850. If we can break 800, I think that could get there. The street low on expectations, $723. That's where we are right now. And this chart, which is the one that sort of started all of this, shows you Eli Lilly outperforming the S&P 500. If you like the story here, over 10 years, 10-year return, 32% versus 12.7% average return. Boom, boom, boom. Kick it out. Obviously, of the last year, it's been huge. But I think Eli Lilly continues to work. I like the level here. You can see what's happened in the past. It's based before and took off. It feels like it's basing right now. I think you have a little bit of a pressure point here for Eli Lilly, and I like that report.
This may come down to, yes, the numbers for this quarter's, you know, looking backwards, not forwards. Yes, those numbers are going to be massive. If they mention or, as we were saying, allude to in any way demand, price, like it'll come down to the forecast. What does the forecast look like? Also,
yeah, and that's where I was thinking that I think they'll just forecast huge. Sleep apnea, also apparently a new treatment for their drugs.
Well, I think that goes one and the same with weight loss.
That would make sense.
Yeah, both are very tied.
But there you go. But just another thing that they're going to get approval for, so that again you'll be able to prescribe.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know. I am a little bit nervous now that you mentioned the side effects. I was reading something about that, and then I just think from a ethical standpoint, the fact that it costs a couple dollars and sold for a couple $100 is definitely I know more than that. Wasn't it $1,000? Wasn't it $987?
Yep. And it cost them.
Would you think that I had a great
to make a dose?
Would you think that I should be like 987? If we look back and that was the exact number, would that be pretty impressive?
That would be.
Remember that?
That would be. Somebody should Google that.
I have no idea. I made that up.
All right. So SoFi, Paramount, who cares? PayPal, AMD, Amazon, Apple, Pins, QCOM, goes on and on. MasterCard, we get some of the cruise lines. Peloton's reporting, hilarious.
I would say
Coinbase.
Yeah, what exactly are they reporting?
Exactly.
What
Coinbase, DraftKings, Apple, Block I mentioned as well. So
that was Thursday.
Monster week. And the Fed is Wednesday, so a ton to look forward to.
Yeah, I don't look forward to the Fed. You know why? Because I feel like it's so much hype there on that afternoon.
But it's not, it's not about 2 o'clock, who cares? Nothing's going to happen. It's about what he gets asked, A, and B, how he answers that going into the remainder.
I sort of meant that just as a day trader. It's like you're just going to get thrown around.
Yeah.
It's like someone's going to ask a question, this and that. Let's hope it gets direction. So you're more excited for Tuesday. AMD, let's go to the 3 big ones. AMD, Amazon, Starbucks, or Thursday we've got Apple, Coin, Square, I guess.
That's the market, man. That's the entire market.
SMCI, wow, that is Tuesday.
Supermicro.
Same day, Tuesday night, you get Supermicro and AMD.
That's going to be up or down 20%.
Oh, for sure. I mean, weren't they down 23% that day that they announced that they were going to report, and they didn't pre-guide?
Wild.
I think that's going to be exciting. Qualcomm also on Wednesday, something to look forward to. For me, it's going to be about the Apple story as well.
Has to be, yeah.
But again, the market's been holding out okay, while Apple's been down on the year.
Yeah.
So go figure.
And we were sitting here last week saying, what happens if all these big tech earnings going into this week end up being bad? That's bad for the market. But then we get blowouts across the board, essentially. I mean, Microsoft was good, but it wasn't a blowout. Google, a monster. If Apple turns the tide, surprises everyone.
Boom. The NASDAQ's up 7% year to date, Apple down 8.5%. That's pretty bad.
You know, I was shown a chart. I had a really, really interesting call today with a company that I cannot talk about, but long story short,
Huawei?
There's a product that they're working on that is going to be fantastic. They showed me a chart of the average S&P 500 gainer right across the entire 500 stocks, all in one chart. And the midpoint or middle of that was 9.8%.
Yeah.
It's like there's a few that are just monsters.
For year to date?
Yeah, for year to date, 9.8% so far for the S&P.
I mean, the S&P, you think the S&P's up more than the NASDAQ or the other way around?
No, NASDAQ's.
No.
Really?
Yeah, look, S&P right here, year to date, 7.61%.
Huh.
And the Qs, again, 7. Let me check my boy Diamonds, 1 and a bit.
Yeah. So, I mean,
like the Diamonds. I
right
talked about that last week.
But that's coming off the high too.
Yes,
if you go back
plus
to the
we had a huge.
Yeah, if you go back to the high, it's probably.
And you know what? The S&P is obviously no banks in the NASDAQ. Yeah. So that's
all right, let's
good story too.
Get out of here. What are you doing this weekend?
Oh man, this weekend is packed. Yeah, I was gonna say I have 2 kids and we have 3 sporting events tonight. So I'm trying to go from here and I realize that I have my kids' golf clubs in my trunk, so that's not good. So he's gonna have to borrow some at today's lesson. And then I gotta, so my wife's taking him to golf, then he has hockey.
Yeah.
And then I'm on the diamond till 9:30 with a bunch of 9 and 10-year-old girls running around. And then we have a game tomorrow at 9 o'clock. So I'm kind of thinking it rains, maybe if
dinner sometime in there or
yeah, well, we're supposed to be barbecuing some sausage tonight,
right,
which should be nice. We'll be doing that. And then yeah, more stuff over the weekend. And what about yourself?
I'm going to watch it rain all weekend.
Really?
Yeah.
When are we going golfing? We're gonna have to go golfing. We're gonna expense that because it's a podcast. We're going to go golfing and then discuss it on the podcast.
I love how we're planning this in real time. Do you have a good thing for me?
Yes, I do,
week?
but I'm Googling it.
Okay, I'll go first.
I want to show you a picture, that's why.
All right, I have a get ready for your restaurant reco.
Yes.
Of the month.
You had a good one last time. I got to go there. Sonny's.
This is an O&B restaurant, Oliver and Bonacini.
Can't afford it.
Wellington. Have you been on Wellington Street lately?
Have not.
You will not even recognize Wellington Street.
So much construction. Well, I've been down there.
No, but like just, it's finished. It's basically finished.
Okay,
like,
good. There you go.
It looks incredible. Like they've built this fantastic little neighborhood that's centered around the well.
And over there,
yeah,
Spadina.
Wellington and Spadina.
Got it. Yep.
And there's all brand new condos, all brand new restaurants. It looks fantastic. They've done an absolutely great job. My wife and I went to this restaurant last week. Had a fantastic dinner. Long story short, they double charged us, but you know it's fine. They'll.
What happens when that happens? Do they get it
refund? The rest, but it's not cheap. No, I'm not gonna lie, it's not cheap, but it was
what did you eat?
Phenomenal. So much. No, it's French. I mean foie gras, like everything. Like
wow, look at you.
It was fantastic. Fantastic. Go check it out.
Why are these guys laughing over there all the time? These are mine, man. Have you had these before?
What is that?
Spicy dill pickle chips. So, all right, the funny thing is this. So my wife goes to Costco, shout out again to Costco, we love that place. And she's like, they have these new chips there, spicy dill pickle. I kind of like spice, I like dill pickle. But the last time she bought chips from Costco, she bought cucumber chips. Those were kind of nasty.
Pass.
So I was like, kind of hard pass on that.
Like flavor or actual?
Cucumber flavored Lay's chips.
What?
Yes, man.
Cucumbers taste like nothing.
Exactly, and now put them on chips. The chip part was okay.
Was it just like regular chips?
Yeah, but with like a cucumber nothing taste. Yeah, I know pickles are cucumbers. What?
Pickles are cucumbers, but with pickling added.
Okay, but they're really good. So that was my one good thing.
I'm down. I love dill pickle chips.
Okay. Next time she's at Costco, I'm gonna buy.
Give me like a spice rating.
No, not spicy.
No, like
4.
Oh, okay.
Not even
perfect.
3.
Perfect. So like
my kids are eating them, and they're not. They're like
what are the hot Doritos? The chili.
Oh, sweet chili heat.
Yeah, like
less than.
Less than. Okay. Yeah.
That's a good one. Comparable
sweet
to.
chili heat.
Comparable to.
God.
I love sweet chili heat. Those are one of my favorites.
All right.
And these ones have a Miss Vicky thing attached to them as well. So there you go.
All right, let's get the hell out of here. Happy weekend. Happy episode 24. Enjoy your Saturday and Sunday. We'll catch you back on.
Yep, I'm going to find the most expensive golf course.
Do that. We'll catch you back on Monday.
Ciao.
Bye.
See you episode 24 in the books.